Pete Hendrix with Hendrix Classics here. Here's what we've been up to lately. So we're just coming out with our new bath soap. The short version is that we kind of invented a new genre of bath soap by accident, and what that is very high quality fragrance oil. The bars cost more, however, they last as long as 2 to 3 artisan soaps, which makes it, when you divide it out, it makes it a very good value for that ultra premium fragrance wonderfulness to fill your bathroom. So also I'll say folks are starting to buy it. This is a new product, so of course if we find something, if we need to reformulate or anything like that, we will, though I think it's going to be pretty good. Okay, we, which is me in this case, have put a lot of time and effort into improving our ability to select fragrances that will be widely popular. And we don't want people to purchase products that they don't like. If somebody, if you get a fragrance and you really don't like it, then reach out to me. We'll swap it out, or I'll refund your money or something. Okay. I have posted in our group, and I need to post more widely, which I will do today, the frags that we're looking at purchasing for the next order. These orders take a long time, so this purchase will be for fall winter soaps and maybe even some spring ones for next year. We have to see what's going on with the tariffs. If 50% tariffs start rolling out on countries around the world, we won't make the purchase. So we're going to have to see what that is. My thinking with the tariffs, a 10% tariff, we can, we'll eat that. Well, I won't say we will eat it. We have been eating it. But when they start going over that, it becomes a question whether a purchase or raise prices, and that's a place I don't like being. Anyway, now here's something that I'm pretty pleased with. We are moving to Airless Pumps for the 100% good stuff beard, face, and scalp product. And what I like about these Airless Pumps is, first off, so as you pump it, the bottom moves up, so the contents are never exposed to air. And one of the things I don't like about the droppers is, over time, the oils will evaporate through the seals. They're not supposed to, but they do. And this is also probably more what can I think of, more sanitary. And of course it has a top on it, which is on the floor over there. And we're going to bring back Balm and Lotion. And the reason, we quit selling Balm and Lotion because I didn't think that lotion and balm has a lot of water and a lot of emulsifying wax, and I don't really see those as value added enough for the consumer to really do it. However, Morgan, who's on our team, helped me come to understand that women want lotion and they don't want oil. They don't want to have, you put it on your hands, she says, and then you have to wait for it to soak in. And women have too much going on. They don't want to take time for that. They certainly don't want to get it on their clothing, which that's certainly valid. So we will have balm and lotion coming back, not just for ladies, but for everybody. Everybody has a different preference. While there's a lot of emulsifying wax and water in the balms and lotions, you also get a larger size. I still like this. Is 100% all natural. There's nothing in it but the good oils. That's why we call it the good stuff. Okay, so what else? Also with the Airless Pumps, there's no risk of spilling it. If you take the dropper out and tip it over, it'll get all over everywhere. Now, FedEx, we have a partnership with FedEx, and they are such a wonderful partner. One of the things they do is they keep e-commerce consultants on staff to help out small customers that are trying to grow their business and grow their FedEx shipments. And so I've been doing a lot of work on the website. A lot of it won't impact the consumer as much, but it does impact the consumer. Or cruising our website, if you see something that's not right, if you have a hard time finding something, I would be most grateful if you would let me know. So a big thing that we had to do for the project thus far is to make changes so that we can manage inventory, because if you don't want to hear all about that, but that's something we had to do, and I'm very grateful to FedEx. We're going to try a new shave brush supplier outside of China. I just don't know if the tariffs are going to come down. Right now they're 30%, and we aren't going to absorb all of that, and I don't know that customers want to pay more, so we're not ordering. I hope those will come down. We'll just have to see. We are starting to work on a new shave bowl. Now, the superior performance with our existing bowl comes from the speed bumps, those lines in the bowl, as well as having a straight wall. So that's kind of the physics we're dealing with. And so what I'm putting time into thinking about is how can we use the straight wall bowl and make it look better. And so I think we may, while the lines are being stamped into the bowl, I think we may stamp the logo into the bottom of the bowl. And I'm also figuring out how we can get patterns stamped into the side of the bowl, and that pattern could be a logo, it could be something else. And then once we do that, whether or not we can fill those with color, that's what I would really like to do. There's several challenges. Being the supplier that makes the bowls, he wants to make bowls. He don't want to get them powder coated. He don't want to, he don't want to do anything else. And so I'm trying to find a way that will be cost, keep the cost reasonable, where we can get color added. And so I'm excited about that. Let's see what else. We're working with a new supplier, hopefully, for folding razors. And you remember we came out with I don't remember the name of it. I named it after a Scottish sword, but basically it was a copy of the Weck razor that takes the Kismet blades. And that one we'll have for sure. I also want to get a razor that will take the Artisan Club blades, and that's a little more complicated. There's the model that most people see, and that would be one option. The thing to know about the Artisan Club blades is the aggressiveness of the razor is determined by the razor blade and how how tall the razor blade is. If the blade's taller, there's more sticking out. And so I'm trying to think about how we can manage that when items are being made by lower technology. I can purchase the kind that folks are used to, but that's going to come from China, tariffs and all that. So we are really starting to put more and more focus on EDP. Our EDP is either the best available, our inspired by EDPs are either the best that are on the market in the U.S. or they're right up with the best. They are very, very good. we've taken our game to the next level there. And so you're going to start seeing more focus on EDPs. You know, there are folks who are going to want the original EDP, and that's fine. A lot of ours are, you know, I think a lot of ours are as good as the original, but they don't match the original. And the folks who we get our fragrance oil from, they also develop and co-develop fragrances for the big houses. And so, and you know, and they're selling us inspired buys. And what keeps the peace there is they will never sell us a 100% match. You know, we call them 95% matches, and sometimes people can tell a difference, sometimes they can't. Now, understanding that they smell, that there's going to be some difference, I think the quality is equal to the fragrance houses, and sometimes it's better. The feedback that's been coming in about our Aventus inspired by is that it's better than the original, and I've had that from two people, and with one of them I was able to and these are folks who own the original, and what was explained to me is that it's more intense, it's more it has more pow, I guess you would say. And we paid the big bucks and got the highest quality on that one, so I'm really not surprised. But, you know, we want you to be your best self. Part of that is shaving and grooming, and part of that for a lot of people should be fragrances as well. And so, you know, you'll be hearing more from us about fragrance moving forward. I think that covers it. Thank you so very much.